What's up, Red Devil fans? Finally, the time has come. This is how we have come to believe that it will occur very soon. Ronaldo's disastrous return to Old Trafford. Cristiano's worst career decision was to rejoin Man United. On Tuesday night, the Portuguese announced his departure from the team, ending a protracted and contentious divorce that had damaged his reputation. First of all, let me bring you guys back to the match between Manchester United and Newcastle at Old Trafford on September 11, 2021, was unlike any other. There were too many media passes, superstars filled the director's box, and middle-aged folks outside wearing ill-fitting jerseys they hadn't worn in nearly 2 decades. One man, named Cristiano Ronaldo, who was the center of attention. This was the King's triumphant return, and he did so in spectacular style by scoring twice in his second debut. During a heartfelt 5-1 victory that seemed to indicate that a team coming off a second-place finish in the Premier League would really go one better in 2021-2022, the fans sang, "Viva Ronaldo!" Ronaldo argued, as Goal reported at the time, that he hadn't rejoined United to bask in the success of the past, but rather that he might help the team achieve success in the future. Ronaldo insisted that it was the right time. "I want to make history, to help Manchester to have great results and win trophies." In light of this, it is impossible to view his second stint at Old Trafford as anything other than a catastrophe after Tuesday night's news of his untimely departure. He may have made some goals, but he didn't make any progress. There were not any prizes and not many outstanding results. Worse still, he was able to harm his reputation in the eyes of the supporters, which was inconceivable merely a few months ago. Even some of his most ardent admirers, including Rio Ferdinand, acknowledged that his method of coercing United into terminating his contract was wholly unacceptable. His position had become untenable as he began a vicious attack on almost every club member. Just a few months after he originally let United know that he wanted out, they were forced to finally allow him to leave. But throughout the summer, there was no escape. Apart from a hefty offer from Saudi Arabia, Ronaldo's desired elite European team had shown no significant interest in United. Thus, it would be interesting to watch if a top team approaches him now that he is available on a free transfer. Given his continued huge wage demands and his recent on- and off-field behavior, one doubts it given that Ronaldo is now perceived as being more problem than he is worth. Of course, there are tactical considerations as well. Ronaldo is obviously either not suited for or opposed to the pressing game practiced by so many contemporary coaches. Even Vincent Kompany joked on BBC on Tuesday night that Burnley needed players who could run and would not sign the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner. Of course, Ronaldo may not be the only one to blame for his unwillingness to press on the field. His age is 37. His need for an offense designed around him and for younger legs to carry out the arduous work has been obvious for years. He will therefore be anticipating Portugal's game against Ghana on Thursday. The World Cup provides the Portugal captain with the ideal stage on which to persuade club coaches that he still has much to contribute at the highest level and to quell his detractors. It's not implausible, that much is certain. However, United supporters won't be very concerned with his performance in Qatar. Their major emotion will likely be relief that this trauma is finished. They were sick and tired of Ronaldo's shenanigans by this point. He had turned into a hindrance, and this season, some of their best efforts had been overshadowed by his petulance. Indeed, it became apparent very immediately that United were a better team without Ronaldo than they were with him. According to the announcement confirming his departure will free United to concentrate on sustaining the team's progress under Erik ten Hag. Ronaldo's declaration of leaving was arguably immediately eclipsed by the revelation that the Glazer family is investigating strategic alternatives to promote club growth, which includes selling up after years of supporter dissatisfaction. This is a clear indication of Ronaldo's waning power. Since the Glazers, according to Ronaldo, don't truly care about United, he is obviously not a fan. And they undoubtedly have a lot to answer for when examining United's decade of failure. Ronaldo's criticism appeared to be a deliberate diversion, one of many made during that now famous interview with Piers Morgan to absolve himself of any responsibility for the total breakdown of his relationship with the team he supposedly cares so deeply about. Obviously, his ardent admirers will assert that everything Ronaldo said to his biggest fan was true. They will contend that he was let down by everyone at United, that the team's owners, coaches, and players just weren't on his level, and that his dissatisfaction was inevitable and natural given that no one else around him was pursuing success with the same fervor. Given that we're talking about a team that has struggled with mediocrity since Sir Alex Ferguson left nearly 10 years ago, there may be some truth to that. But in truth, it doesn't really matter who you blame for this messy divorce or what you think. Both sides had long since realized they are better off without one another, therefore it was obvious from the beginning that the relationship was going to fail. The best decision I've ever made, according to Ronaldo, was returning to United following his second debut double. In fact, it ended up being his worst. Ronaldo didn't take long to respond to the news himself. Shortly after the club announced his departure with a brief statement, he sent an Instagram message to thank Manchester United supporters for their support. The striker said, "Following conversations with Manchester United, we have mutually agreed to end our contract early. I love Manchester United and I love the fans, that will never ever change. However, it feels like the right time for me to seek a new challenge." Ronaldo only scored 3 goals in 16 appearances across the Premier League and Europa League this season. The only senior strikers remaining at the club after his departure are Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford, who are better suited to playing off the flanks. 3 days after the World Cup final in Qatar, on December 21st, United will play again in a Carabao Cup match against Burnley. Prior to travelling to play Wolves on New Year's Eve, they play Nottingham Forest in their return to the Premier League on December 27th. However, Ronaldo didn't take long to respond to the news himself. Shortly after the club announced his departure with a brief statement, he sent an Instagram message to thank Manchester United fans for their support. How do you guys feel about this conclusion? Please leave the comments. And please do not forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.